every relationship has its end. And from my own perspective, I sometimes wonder why that happens. As a man, sometimes it's a little difficult to reflect when online you have so many different opinions going around, coming your way. I wonder if the anger or sadness I feel about someone is justified sometimes. And maybe the best thing you can do for yourself when you're in one of these kind of positions is to turn the table onto yourself. I know how bad heartbreak feels. Believe me, I do. I know it's rough. But at the same time, if you don't want that pain, that same pain that you're feeling right now, to reappear, you need to build off yourself. You need to learn something off of that. And you can't just blame her for being a bad person, or however you want to put it. Now, before you met this person, I want you to think about it yourself. Who were you? What were you like? Were you in better shape? Did you have more energy, more money? Were you more driven, more passionate as a person? And think from her perspective. What were you selling yourself as back then? Who did she see in you? And what were you before you became this comfortable relationship version of yourself? Because the dating scene has this funny thing of forcing men to be bettering themselves as they compete with others to secure a partner. Because you're constantly in this competition, you're fighting against other people. Now, what a long-term partner does is it often, naturally as a man, you start to unconsciously settle into whatever position you are in now at that point. So, let's see. Let's take... Alright. This is you. Right now. I'm just going to add a little body to this. This is you. As you are now. And this is, hold on, almost, I'm just going to add a little head on this. Big dude. This guy's buff, if you cannot tell. This dude right here, this bigger version of you, is who you are basically meant to be. And what a long-term partner does is what a woman sees in you is she sees this guy right here, and she says, and you, with all that passion, all that energy that you have, you show her that one day, especially to the young guys out there, you could become this right here. And that's kind of an investment that she makes in you as a person. And oftentimes, especially when you are like we said, younger, she has to take that risk. So when she sees that you kind of stagnate in this progression, we could even make this longer if we really wanted to, because it's usually not that short, right? And that usually has kind of ups and downs to it. Gonna go up and down. And it's not really an even line, right? But if she sees you going on a downward descent, or just completely stagnate to this point, she's not going to see that you're going to bounce back up. She's just seeing this. And the thing is she's not seeing it as much as she's feeling this downward curvature right here. And that's something we're going to get into. Now, like I said throughout this video, I want you to try and look back at your own life, if you can, and see if anything I'm saying you could apply to yourself. If at any point in your relationship you felt you might have been stagnating or are stagnating now, then maybe you could pull yourself out of this situation, even yourself up a little bit, kind of towards this trajectory of the person that we want to be, right? Now, stagnation inevitably leads to a searching for comfort. So this guy right here, if you don't end up becoming this, and obviously I'm using big dude because let's say we all want to be big, but this is in general just being a better version of yourself. If you start to stop becoming this at any point, you start to seek and search for comfort. You often stop challenging yourself, because in order to be this, you need to be constantly challenging yourself. It's not easy to be this, but that's why everyone wants this. Both men and women. Men want to be this, women want to be with this. And now when a man stops becoming, he stops being chosen. That's very important. When a man stops becoming, he stops being chosen, not only by women, but by God. You stop being chosen by God. Now, what do I mean by that? And you could look at the parable of the talents in the Bible, which I will put up on the screen for you at some point. Now, when you're given something in life and you do nothing with it, life itself will punish you for it. So, if you have an abundance and you do nothing with the abundance, the way things work in the world is that you will be punished in a form of way that you might not even expect. And that's just how life is. It's just simply how things are. The person with even one coin, if you know the parable, must put it to use. And you, with all your coins that you have, let's say this person has many talents and can do many things in his life. When even the person with one coin has to do something with their life and has to risk that one coin, because if they lose, they don't have many other talents to back up on. They have just that one. They go all or nothing. And basically what God a lot of the time is asking you is to go in all or nothing. And that's the reality of it. And it's scary to go all or nothing, but you need to do it. Now, I think that if you are at this point right here, and you get a nice, we'll have triangle. This will be the woman. So if you have a nice female at some point in your life, a good woman, beautiful girlfriend with you, and you have all of these talents that you've gathered, all these coins, you are a rich man, many people may say, and you have all of these little talents. Sometimes you discover them along the way. All of these little coins, sometimes you're born with some as well. All of these little coins that you find along the way. Wouldn't you say that, if anything, you should be inspired to do even more because you have all these things? And I will quote now, "For everyone who has, more will be given, and he will have an abundance. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away." That is Matthew 25. And this is what I mean by it's the way that the world works, right? Because it is a principle, a spiritual principle, that if you have more, you will get more. That is why life seems unfair almost sometimes, especially to the nerdy types who don't get to experience this right here. Because oftentimes this guy right here is constantly winning, and you're wondering, well, why is this guy winning? He's not perfect. Well, he's not perfect, but he's using these coins that he gained along the way, because in reality, even this guy had to go through some kind of journey to get there. And he's using these coins, these talents of his. Many of the people that are suffering are not using their own coins. They're in a deep state of depression or sadness or grief, or because these coins, these talents that we get, they become our identity. And when you have identity, the depression that you have actually ceases to have as much of an impact on you as when you didn't have the coins or when you didn't develop them. You need to water these. You need to invest them. Invest in yourself. And you have to remember that having is not a stationary act. In having, you need to constantly pursue having more. And that's not to say in a greedy, satanic way, because I know I just said a Bible verse, you know. I can't just say, it sounds weird saying that you need to have, or you need to constantly pursue more. But you have to also remember that you were put on this earth to feed from the fruits of God, basically. And who are you to say no to his gifts? And when you were given so much, you were expected to do even more. With great power comes great responsibility, right? If you have all of these coins, you need to do more. It even means that if you have this great partner in your life, you should be doing even more because you have this great talent, right? Now, the more comfort you seek in a relationship, the more of a maternal relationship it becomes. And I'll go into what maternal means. The relationship stops having the demands of a relationship. So like what it had at the beginning, basically. Because at the beginning, every relationship has demands from your partner. You expect certain stuff of a girlfriend. But then that relationship breaks down over time, and you stop demanding the same stuff when you start to seek comfort. Like we said, what you saw in your mother, which is that kind of warm feeling of comfort and having no demands and feeling safe all the time. The woman you are dating most likely does not want to be that maternal figure. You have to remember that. Even if they are okay with it for the time right now, that doesn't mean they want to be that. Can I turn this upside down? Yes, I can. This is actually the feminine. We'll keep this like this. So that is the female. Now, when you stop becoming, you also stop individuating. And you stop becoming a man when you're in this kind of relationship and this maternal relationship, and you kind of hand over the power that a man has in the relationship. Because if she is seeking refuge or if you're seeking refuge in her, she cannot be seeking refuge in you, right? And God has to be your refuge. So let's illustrate this somehow. Okay, so let's just put F as in female, M as in male over here, this is how it all works. So, one, two. There we go. The feminine seeks refuge in the masculine, and the masculine seeks refuge in God. Your job is to seek refuge in God, and in a higher principle. She can seek refuge in you, and any children that she bears seek refuge in her. And obviously, parent however you like the kids, but this is the general way that I think a healthy relationship runs. And essentially what is happening is you are falling into a pleasure principle, which is basically immediate gratification. You're falling into that kind of trap, as opposed to having a reality principle, which you develop things over time with. So that's the kind of maternal side to things, but you also can stop individuating. Now, what is that? We talked about it a lot. You could see other videos on my channel, but every soul's responsibility on this earth is to become an individual to their utmost potential. You kind of need your own hero arc in a sense. And in this world, women are a magnetic property and men are an electric property. And these are kind of the masculine and feminine laws. But every man has inside of himself a feminine or anima. Now, the anima is projected outwards. And women can sense these feminine traits of yours. They often can't tell they sense it, but they can. And when you stop becoming the anima and projecting it from you, or when you stop becoming the anima that is kind of emitting from you, becomes weak, kind of dark and pathetic a little bit, if we're being honest. The shadow can also be spoken of here by not becoming, you are actively building a shadow of who your inner hero wanted to be. That kind of inner hero is kind of like your kid, right? If we go back to this image right here, it's like even before this, there's like this little kind of even smaller version. This is like little you with like your toys and stuff. And this little you ends up becoming this, and you hopefully become this. And that is your progression. Well, anyways, the inner you is kind of what your urges are from the inside. They kind of pent up over time, right? And when you allow this inner you to pent up, it builds up a shadow, is what Jung called it. And you start to develop kind of this hatred in you. It's not like a hatred for a specific thing. Well, it is. It's a hatred for yourself, for not becoming this. But it's a hatred that you don't push onto yourself, you push onto other people, often your partner. And when you allow the shadow to build up itself, all the things you wanted to do and gave up on, you gave up on it because you were comfortable, not because of someone else. Because of your relationship, finding a way to fit both your relationship and what your inner hero desires of you is key to not building up a nasty shadow. You want to kind of balance both at the same time. It's a scale. And that's why a lot of relationships don't work, because you need to find that balance as a man. Now, women will often not be able to communicate to you what they are actually feeling in a way you will understand. They will feel something is off before they say anything to you, and they might describe those feelings to you. However, they won't be able to tell you that you stopped becoming something. They won't, that you started to get like comfortable. They won't be able to hit the nail on the coffin. Oftentimes you won't know what she's getting at, and that's because she's feeling something she can't describe to you. And you can't really be mad at that for her, because the unconscious communicates to us through feelings and not through logical thinking. The unconscious is obviously feminine, and the conscious is the active male principle. And the women are obviously tapped more into the unconscious, so they will get a lot more of that feeling. They will understand that a lot better than most men. Now, women are attracted to this life energy, this aliveness that you have within you, and it's what kind of pulls them in. And as a man, you should have a drive within you, and as your woman, I hope, has admiration for that drive. So, drive. That is, spelled that wrong. Great. Drive. There we go. And admiration. Now drive connects like this. And I hope you see what I'm doing here. It is a feedback loop, right? And if you stop having drive, okay, this didn't connect well. There we go. Now if you stop having drive, she will stop giving you admiration. And now the problem is I'll give you a hint. The loop here, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Well, it's the drive that comes first. It doesn't start at her giving you admiration. You gotta already have that drive within you in order to attract admiration from the female, who will then give it back to you. And in a relationship, you are hopefully in this active cycle of giving and taking. You give drive and you take admiration. She gets drive from you and gives you that admiration, and both of you are feeding off of that. And if you ever find yourself in this kind of situation where you've gone through a breakup, feel a little helpless, and think you don't want anyone else again, which I understand, I've been there. And you need to go back to becoming again. That's what you need more than anything else. You need to start building up an identity to who you once were. You need to use that energy you have from all the emotions you feel after the breakup and put them into something that you wouldn't have been able to do when you were comfortable and soft. And that's the truth. A lot of the time when you're in a relationship, you just don't have that fire to start something uncomfortable. You're already uncomfortable now, you might as well start, right? And the truth is she's not trying to be cruel to you, most of the time at least. She's actually leaving because that's the last way she can tell you to pull yourself together. Remember, she cannot want you more than you want yourself. And now it's all on you. Even though in reality, it's always been on you. Remember to individuate.